Let's see.
What's up, everybody? This is Dan, and we are here in Tokyo. We just got done with our delicious dinner in this great udon shop. We covered TGS 2013 today. This was day one, and you were there. You saw the keynote speech,
Yes,
and you
I
played
did.
some games.
Played some games.
What happened?
Well, the keynote speech was pretty good. They just talked about the Vita Life, yes, the Vita TV, and what they were doing with that, and they did a live demonstration. Shuhei Yoshida was on screen, and he showed some really cool stuff with that. And you can just write stuff on your Vita tablet and just throw it up on the screen and actually interact with it. I thought that was really cool. They showed a lot of love for the indies. They showed a big video of games coming out for the PS3 and the Vita and everything for indies like Fez and Octodad and some really cool game we saw on Steam, which I forget the name. What was the one you showed me?
Oh, which on Steam?
Yeah, you know, the one that adventure RPG where you die.
Rogue Legacy.
Legacy, yeah.
That's going to be on the
Rogue
Vita.
Legacy, yeah. I saw a video.
It's a great game.
Good.
Yeah.
So the keynote speech was really good. And then after that, we walked the floor. We saw a lot of stuff. We saw Kojima.
Oh, before you move on, what did they mention about the Vita TV?
Vita TV. They mentioned they're gonna possibly try to get it to North America. They don't know when yet. And
But they said they're going to try to.
They're going to try to, if I can remember the translation right.
Okay.
Because I was front row, third from the front, and so I could hear the guys on stage really good with their Japanese in one ear and the translator in the other. So it was a little bit garbled, but they said so far it's sold really good in Japan. There's a really good reception for it, and also they mentioned how they want to try and sell 5 million PS4 units by the end of 2013. They also mentioned that as well.
Why would you buy a Vita TV?
I would buy a Vita TV for one, I can play my Vita games on a TV, which is really good. Two, it's cheap. So if you like the games but you don't like a handheld, it's $100. And so you can play all your PS1 classics, your PS2 classics, your Vita games on your TV, and you have all the remote play. So if you got like your mother or your girlfriend or other friends who want to watch a movie on one TV, you can go play your PS4 on a different TV in your house. My only concern is you do it using a PS3 controller. So if a game uses that PS4 touchpad a lot, it might not translate very well because you're using a PS3 controller. That's the only downside I could see for it at the moment.
So we might see more and more developers not utilizing PS4 exclusive controls because of that consideration, you think?
I think it might be. It could be. Unless they have a PS4 controller usable for it. Right now they just show the PS3 controller. So if it's usable with a PS4 controller, then it doesn't matter. They're pretty sketchy on the details of that and stuff like that.
Okay,
but
cool.
It's not too bad.
That was the keynote speech?
That was the keynote speech.
Cool.
Yeah. So the floor we walked around. There's lots of people around. First thing we saw was Kojima live on stage talking about Metal Gear Solid 5.
What did you think?
That looked really good.
What looked good about it?
The graphics were good. The first thing that struck me was the water. Like the scene was like they're infiltrating this base and it's raining, and you know how in games now it's raining but they still look completely dry. Snake looked like all of his clothes were soaked. Like, literally, I need to put my clothes in a dryer soaked and shining in the light. It looked really good. But he's talking in Japanese. It was really funny, all these white characters on the screen speaking in perfect Japanese. That was because we're used to Hater in North America, right? So, or now with Jack Bauer. Jack Bauer. So that was really interesting to actually hear the Japanese voice actor talk all the time and hearing Kojima speak about the game, but there was no translation, so it was really hard to know what he was talking about. But it looked good. It looked like Metal Gear. it looked exactly like Metal Gear Solid.
Cool.
But if it plays as good as 4, if you liked 4, I'm pretty sure it's not a stretch of the imagination. You're gonna really like Metal Gear Solid 5.
Cool. What else? What else did you see?
After that, we went to the enemy. We went to Xbox because we had to check out Titanfall.
Behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines. We're not a fanboy site, so we have to look at the competition. And Titanfall.
What did you see?
We saw Titanfall. It looked good. We played it. I hate first-person shooters, but it sold me. And I hate first-person shooters. I hate COD. I hate Halo. Killzone's fine, but I'm not going to buy a PS4 for Killzone. But, or at least at the moment. We haven't seen Killzone yet. But playing Titanfall was fun. I was playing against noobs. I think noobs maybe. But usually I like suck at FPSs, but this I won at, and the controls felt smooth. Controls were smooth. Headshots felt like headshots and not like, why didn't you die? I hit you straight in the face. The giant mechs were really cool because anyone can use them and anyone can call them. It's like, hey, you have a Titan ready. It drops, you get in, you just wreck damage. And it was cool that you could actually grab into someone and pull out the pilot and just throw them away like they're just, here's garbage. Like, I'll rip your heart out, Indiana Jones style, and throw you away. So that was cool.
So overall, Titanfall thumbs up?
Titanfall gets a thumbs up for me.
Xbox looking pretty good?
Xbox was looking good for Titanfall. Everything else they had was basically not exclusive. They had...
Forza exclusive. Forza is exclusive. It's a big racing franchise.
The majority stuff.
Okay.
From the video we saw, like Kingdom Hearts 3 is not exclusive, Final Fantasy is not exclusive.
Yep.
We didn't see Forza.
Forza was there on the floor. We could probably check that out tomorrow.
Yeah. So, and we saw that. It was good. I liked it. I would buy it on a PS4. If it came into PS4, I would probably buy Titanfall.
As a non-shooter fan?
As a non-shooter fan. I got to see their little XP, what they're doing with the XP more. If it's geared more towards RPGs and less towards just unlocking weapons, like COD, then I would be more apt to getting it on the PS4 as an RPG fan.
Yep.
So next, after that, we went to, what did we go to next? Oh yeah, we went to Square.
Square.
We saw Square.
Got a lot of good footage.
A lot of good footage of Square. A lot of really...
We played a game that you especially liked.
We played Final Fantasy 13. We played Lightning Returns. So far, after day 1, this is my game of the show. It's Final Fantasy 13.
It's the favorite game
so far? It is my favorite game. For a PlayStation site, it is my favorite game so far.
Alright.
We got bootleg footage, which we shouldn't have taken, but we did.
But we still got it.
We still got it. It's good. We'll post it up later. But it was a playable demo. It's just it's just a mission. You have to find a chocobo, find a angel chocobo somehow, and you're just dropped in the middle of the world. And it's not like Final Fantasy 13 at all, where it's completely linear. This is open world.
So besides the open world, what were some of the things that struck you as improvements over the original game?
The battle system. It was so much fun. Like, it was... I don't know if they're going to have more than one person in the party, but in the demo it was just Lightning. And it seemed like they took elements from Final Fantasy X-2, where you have like all the different costumes. So you're Lightning, and you start out with her normal costume, and you could...
But you can switch.
You can switch.
And they all have different abilities.
And they all have different abilities, and they all have like an energy bar, like an ATB bar.
So you use them to combo into each other?
Yeah, you can combo into each other, and when one is depleted, you can switch to a different one, and then it slowly refills. So you don't have to like say, I use up all my ATB, all my energy, and you're not just waiting there.
Okay, what is ATB?
I don't know. It's just your active time there. So, I don't know.
Oh, active time bar, okay.
Yeah, active time bar. That's actually exactly what it is, the active time bar. And, so like, you know how in other normal RPGs, it's like, I do my attack, and it's active time, so I just wait until I can attack again. This, it's like I do all my attacks, and instead of waiting for it to fill, I can then switch to a different costume, and the bar is already filled for that costume. And then I can attack, switch, attack, and switch. So it's two of the costumes are constantly refilling as I'm using the other one. And since they're all doing different skills, some do magic, some do like normal power attacks, weapon attacks. There's a lot of depth, a lot of strategy to it, which was really interesting and cool. So like I know a lot of people were all up in the air about like the cloud get up that you could get from pre-orders, I think it was. And they're like, well, why are you going to give Lightning a cloud uniform? I think they give you that because you can use cloud abilities for this new cool system. So it's not just...
So it plays into the game mechanics.
It plays into the game mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah. So
one thing that I wanted to mention about our time with Final Fantasy 13 or Lightning Returns, while I was watching you play, I did notice... Now, this is an early build of the game, so we need to mention that. But while I was watching, I did notice that the frame rate was not so hot. Yeah. Especially when you were running around in the open world.
Yeah, the open world.
It was definitely not running at a smooth 60. Now this is an unfinished build, so that is something that can probably be fixed later on. Yeah. But it concerns me a little bit because the game, while the art direction is quite good, the game's not exactly a stunner in terms of graphics. The aesthetics are really nice. And the art assets are really good, but it's not on the level as, say, like Uncharted.
Well, we didn't see a motion video, so it was just all like normal footage.
Well, that's true, but even so, seeing the game kind of chug on that hardware was a little bit concerning. Yeah. But hopefully, it's something that they can.
It's a demo, so
something they can smooth out by release date. Yeah. All right, so we checked that out at the Square booth.
Yeah, the Square booth.
And then what was next?
Next, same as Square. You played Wolfenstein.
I did.
Yeah.
We'll mention that later.
We'll mention it later. And then also at the Square booth, we checked out Final Fantasy X and X-2.
What'd you think?
Someone who's beating Final Fantasy X before.
Now these are remastered?
These are remastered, so it's just better graphics.
Is there anything else that they changed?
I don't know yet.
Did they rework the textures?
It looked better. The graphics looked good, but when I was...
It seemed to run really nice. I'm assuming that the original games did not run at a smooth 60 frames per second.
No.
But these games seem to run really smooth.
They did. One thing that was funny for me was when I was demoing X2, was their faces looked a little scary. Like they looked really doll-like. It was like their eyes were bigger and more like lifeless. So it was really quite interesting.
Was it too high res for its own good?
I guess so. I'm not a graphics person, so like when you say frame rates, I'm like, I don't know frame rates. I'm just like, it looks good to me. So but I just found it funny. But like it's crisper, it's cleaner. Like it was obviously, it looked better than the PS2 versions. But this was just the beginning of the game. Like I played a little of 10 and a little 10-2, and it just showed us the start. Not a lot of the battle system, and I guess it's just a graphic overhaul of the original. So if you like the original, you'll like this with better graphics. If you didn't like the original, this isn't going to bring anything new.
Does the gameplay hold up, in your opinion, to today's standards?
I think it's a little slower than today. I think even with Final Fantasy 13 to compare, that game is a lot quicker than Final Fantasy X2 or X. So I think it's a more slower, old school type of game.
So for like say the younger players that may not have that may not have been raised on PlayStation 2s, is it something, do you think, that they could get into?
The OCD generation?
The OCD gen.
If you got major OCD, no. You're not going to. The start was just brutal, going through cutscenes that you can't skip. So that was a bit fun.
Can't skip those cutscenes.
You can't skip those cutscenes.
You can pause them.
You can pause them, but you can't skip them. At least in the demo, you can't.
Was a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Now, again, keep in context, we're in Japan, so everything was in Japanese. So obviously for us not speaking Japanese, we don't need to know the story. We just want to play the game. So that was a bit annoying for us. Maybe if you've never played it before, it won't be a big problem, obviously. I think for an RPG fan, they would like it. For a non-RPG fan in this generation,
I think it'd be nice to at least have the option.
you have the option, yeah. But I think
Okay, so that was 10
10 and 10
and 10-2
Yeah,
at Square.
Square.
All right.
Yeah. And then you with Wolfenstein.
Yep.
I think we'll talk about it. What did you think as an FPS fan?
As an FPS fan,
Yeah.
here, let me give this over to you.
Yeah, I'll get you on screen.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
I'm Danny. I have played Wolfenstein since I was a kid. Actually, Wolfenstein was my first-person shooter because it was the only game that would run on my crappy 386 PC, Windows 3.1. Castlevania: Spear of Destiny. That was the first game I played, and so I've been a fan ever since. Castlevania, or sorry, have I been saying Castlevania?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Oh my god, Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein: Spear of Destiny is what got me into first-person shooters because it's the only game that ran on my 386. And so seeing that game come back means a lot to me. That franchise has been a part of my life for a really long time. That said, that franchise, Wolfenstein, has been in decline for many, many years now. The previous game, I enjoyed it because I like shooters and I like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
But it didn't break any boundaries as far as the genre goes. And the game before that, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, again, in my opinion, a great game. Really fun, brought some revolutionary ideas to class-based multiplayer at the time. Great game. But the series has kind of stagnated. And so I was really excited to see Wolfenstein at the show and playable on a PlayStation 4. We got about 20 minutes of playtime with that new controller.
It was a long. Yeah, it was the first time we used the PS4 controller.
It was pretty good, right?
Yeah, it felt really good.
It felt really good. As someone who has used both PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360 or PS3 controllers and Xbox 360 controllers, I gotta say the PS4 controller feels really nice.
Yeah,
I like it more than the PS3 controller for sure. The kind of concave shape on the triggers, I think, was a really good design choice. Feels really nice. The controller just fits better. And the thumbsticks for playing a shooter feels way better.
Yeah.
So I really like that controller a lot. But as far as the game goes, Wolfenstein, like I said before, I really, really enjoy shooters. So this is something that I will play as a shooter fan and a Wolfenstein fan. But if you're not a shooter fan or not a Wolfenstein fan, this game's not going to bring you in. This game doesn't bring anything new to the table. This is, I mean, there's some regenerative health. There's limited regenerative health, but you're still running around collecting health packs, health items, and ammo.
Old school shooter.
It's a little bit of an old school shooter. It's got some old school mentality to it. Death comes quick.
Yeah, it did come quick, didn't it?
Death comes quite quick, especially when you play on hard, and it's not always immediately obvious why.
Yeah.
So it's got some of that old school mentality to it. The weapons feel pretty good.
Yeah.
There was a good heaviness to the weapons. I thought it was pretty cool. It's got this cool kind of sci-fi World War II vibe.
Yes.
There were obviously not giant mech warriors in World War II.
Yeah.
But
we did see the Mecha Hitlers.
we did see some Mecha Hitler action going on.
Something that looked like a Mecha Hitler.
Some Mecha Warrior type thing. Anyways,
so
the game was fun. It's a little bit disappointing, seeing as how this is the first time I've seen that game in action, and I've always enjoyed Wolfenstein games. So the game doesn't do anything interesting.
Yeah. So here's a question for you: if you are a first-person fan, one thing that I noticed when you kept dying a few times in a row, and you're like, what's happening? Why am I dying so quickly?
Right.
Apparently, at least in the demo, when you hit a checkpoint and you die, you go back to whatever you had. So if you have like no health and no
Yeah.
ammo, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, that's.
So do you
that's-
think that was a design choice to cater towards like a hardcore gamer who wants a big challenge?
I think it was a design oversight.
Design
Most
oversight?
likely.
Yeah.
It's something that I really hope they fix.
Yeah.
It's a little bit annoying, but we'll see. The
Yeah.
game's not finished yet.
Yeah.
So it's something that they can work on. Hopefully
Yeah.
it doesn't make it into the final version.
Yeah.
But, you know, when the game first started, I tried to break it. I got rid of my guns and just took out my knife and ran around knifing people.
You had fun knifing people.
And while it was fun, it did reveal some problems with the game's AI, in that it doesn't know how to deal with
Yeah.
someone rushing them with a knife. And I was able to butcher at least 15 Nazis using only my knife.
Yeah.
And I think I had more success with that than I did with my guns, which reveals kind of a problem with the AI.
And to put in the context, you did put it on hard.
I did put it on
We
hard.
had the option
I had
of
it on
easy
I had
to
it
hard.
on hard,
Yeah.
and I'm running around with my knife
Yeah.
and butchering dudes with machine guns.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But if you're a shooter fan, look out for it.
Yeah.
The graphics were, again, okay, but not outstanding.
Outstanding.
It was no Titanfall.
It wasn't Titanfall. That
So-
was good.
Yeah, I want to talk about Titanfall because
Yeah.
I'm undecided yet as to which console I want to get.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards PlayStation 4 because they seem to be making all the right moves with the support for indie development, offline play, game trading, and so on. Now I know that Microsoft has kind of changed tracks in that direction as well, but I'm still leaning towards Sony because it's cheaper
Yeah.
and it doesn't come with this weird Kinect thing that I don't want.
Yeah.
But I'm still undecided.
Yeah.
Now, I got to play Titanfall today for the first time, and I have a long history with the Call of Duty series. It should be mentioned that Titanfall is being developed by Respawn, which is made from key members of Infinity Ward, who created the Call of Duty series. Most notably Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, two of the biggest selling games on Xbox 360 and PC. So Call of Duty is something that I've played since Call of Duty 1. So I could definitely feel some of that Call of Duty DNA in that game, and it definitely felt really good. The game itself is really good. It's as a shooter fan, it hits all the right spots for me. The game, the guns feel really, really, really good. I played a CQB engineer type class.
Yeah.
Was rolling with a rocket launcher and a shotgun and a magnum. Everything felt. The weapons just felt really good,
Yeah.
and the movement was so smooth. And it's everything. Everything. If you told me to describe that game in one word, I'd say smooth.
Yeah.
Everything ran so nice, and I gotta talk about the traversal.
Yeah.
The way you get around in that game brings a lot of new mechanics to first-person shooters. I think something that we haven't seen in a first-person shooter that I haven't seen executed this well is the traversal. Think Mirror's Edge on steroids.
On steroids, I think.
Because we're talking, you're the super soldier with this jetpack, some kind of propulsion thing,
Yeah.
and you're able to double jump. And what that means is you can get to terrain that's unavailable to normal dudes.
Yeah.
And then there's also this wall running mechanic that lets you,
It's like a ninja.
that lets you get to really crazy places, and it resets your double jump. So you can double jump onto a sign, wall run it, and double jump again. And if you double jump into another wall, you can just keep going. You can just keep going up. And it just feels so liberating. You can just get anywhere.
I think tomorrow when we see the new Killzone, it'll be interesting to compare those two.
Yes, that is important to mention because, like I said, Titanfall kicks ass.
Yeah.
And that is an Xbox One exclusive, but it's not a launch.
Is it exclusive, or do we know yet?
It's exclusive to Xbox 360 and PC for now.
For now.
It's not a launch game,
No.
so that's important to mention.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So it could come to the PS4 in the future. Who knows?
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
Yes. So we'll need to see how Killzone turns out.
Yeah, Killzone.
But PS4 is facing some pretty stiff competition.
I think from that game, that game could be the new Halo in a way.
It could be, yeah. Well, I think the more appropriate comparison would be the new Call of Duty.
Yeah, new Call of Duty.
You know, who else better to dethrone Call of Duty than the guys who made Call of Duty, right? How ironic that would be.
Yeah.
So that's something that to keep your eyes open for. As a PC gamer, I'm super excited because I don't need to buy an Xbox One to play this game.
Yeah.
I'm playing on PC. I'm really excited to be playing this game.
Yeah.
This is my kind of game. If you like first-person shooters, you're gonna like this game. Even if you don't like first-person shooters, like Dane, you might still like this game.
Still might like it. Yep.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It won't make me buy an Xbox One though.
Sure.
As a non-first-person fan,
Sure, yeah.
like I am not gonna buy an Xbox One for this game.
Sure.
So
yeah.
It's good, but not that good.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's a system seller.
System seller.
It's a system seller, and if it does really well, it's something that could tip the scales in Microsoft's favor.
Yeah.
It's one of those games. It's one of those like what Call of Duty Modern Warfare did for the Xbox 360. Titanfall could do for the Xbox One.
So
it's really So we'll see what happens with Sony's flagship shooter tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I did actually get some hands-on time with PlayStation 4 today.
Yeah. How was it? How was the PS4? Did it feel good? It was greatness. The greatness await.
The line was pretty great.
Yeah.
That was about an hour wait. And by the time I actually got to the front of the line, most of the games I wanted to play were unavailable. But I did get my hands on a little indie title called Octodad.
Yeah.
A funny little game, kind of. In some ways, it kind of reminded me of Quap in that basic movement is really difficult.
Yeah.
And you're this octopus, and it's just a physics-based puzzler where you're just kind of jankily flopping around this environment, and you're trying to manipulate your tentacles to grab objects and collect things and put them in their inventory. And the premise of the demo that I played for 10 minutes was that you're this octopus dad, and you're going to your daughter's wedding. And you need to make it to the wedding on time, and you need to dress in your tuxedo, put on your tie, put on your hat, and actually get to the wedding. Now, in a normal video game, it sounds like super easy, but in Octodad, you're doing this while controlling individual limbs.
Oh, that sounds
arms
cool.
and legs, and you're trying to grab this hat in a 3D environment, and you're trying to put it on your head, but instead you're just slapping yourself with it. It ends up being pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was probably not the best showcase for the PlayStation 4's capabilities. The graphics are really simple, but it was cool to get some hands-on time with that controller. And it is cool to see Sony putting their indie games front and center.
Yeah.
Octodad, a very small indie title, it's in the same category as Killzone, Deep Down, and
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed wasn't playable there that I saw.
Okay.
But it was up there. Those indie titles were being showcased right next to those AAA titles. That tells me Sony's pretty serious about the indie scene.
Yeah.
That sends a pretty cool message. I enjoyed that.
So I think we should also keep in the context, like we talked a lot about the Titanfall and the Xbox, but we should mention that we saw Xbox today because tomorrow, our second day coverage, we have our tour of the Sony booth.
Yes.
So that's when we're going to be pimping out all of the Sony coverage.
Yes,
for the people listening, don't worry, it's not the Xbox show.
Yeah, it's not the Xbox show, but it is important to get a perspective on what's going on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
But we will hopefully be doing a more in-depth coverage on Sony. I did get a chance to see some of Sony's PlayStation 3 titles.
Yeah.
I did go hands-on with Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
For you hardcore RPG players out there that enjoy Dark Souls 2 is pretty good.
It's double the goodness.
It is double the goodness. You're gonna like it. If you like those kinds of games, if you like dying and you like really difficult enemies that can kill you in 3 hits, it seems good. I enjoyed Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Beat that game twice. Really enjoyed it. Dark Souls 2 does not iterate on that formula in any revolutionary way.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because the original game was excellent. The graphics were a minor improvement.
Yeah.
But the game looked good. The enemies were tough. The game was tough, but fun and fair.
Fair.
Well,
Really?
Fair as in you know why you died.
Okay.
You made a mistake.
Fair for Dark Souls.
Fair for Dark Souls.
Yeah.
You made a mistake. Don't make that mistake again.
Deal with it.
Deal with
you
it.
died, deal with it, you know why.
You
Let's
know,
move
you know
on.
exactly why. Don't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
This is, it's the Dark Souls dogma.
Yeah. So
They did. I do want to mention they did do some interesting. They do switch up the gameplay a little bit from the first Dark Souls. I do want to mention that in the original Dark Souls, you could really exploit the backstabbing system in that game. The backstab criticals in Dark Souls was very overpowered, and rightly so. The odds are stacked against you, but in a way to kind of address that, the developers have they've created an enemy, this heavily armored enemy that looks like a giant turtle, where if you run around to his back and try to backstab him, he will just lay on you, and it takes away like 3/4 of your health. And to me, that was the developers saying like, gotcha.
that's a costly lesson.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know that, and it's just like, oh, it's a backstab, and it's like, why did this guy sumo drop me, and I'm almost dead, or possibly dead, depending on your build.
I got a good laugh at that. That happened to me, and I thought, touche. I won't be exploiting backstabs.
Yeah. So the last game that we played, I'll give this back to you. We'll switch it up again.
We played together. The one multiplayer game we got to play together was Blaze Blue.
Blaze Blue
New
by
Blaze
Arc
Blue
Systems.
By Arc Systems.
Now you played their previous game.
I played Persona 4
Arena. Right.
I love that game.
Right.
Even though I'm not a fighting fan at all.
Sure.
This one, I think there's one problem with the demo was we had the arcade stick for it, and they had like really silly pictures for the buttons. So I didn't know what I'm actually pressing.
Sure, yeah. But I don't know. Okay, so Blaze Blue. It's a 4-button game.
It's a 4-button. I know there's more than 4 buttons. There's like 5. Some of them work. Some of them are different.
Well, when I was testing out the moves in the game, I noticed that there was light, medium, and then the special heavy attacks, and then taunt. And then everything else was just a command move, like down forward light, or down forward heavy, and so on.
I tried it. I mean, if you like that type of fighting game, like an Arc Systems Works game, Arc Work Systems, whoever they're called, you'll like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it seemed good. It played well.
Smooth. I mean, the only downside is like I've never played it, so I Blaze Blue, so I don't know their moves, so it's just like button mashing.
Sure,
but
yeah.
it felt good.
I do enjoy fighting games, but I'm more of the Street Fighter type. But the game feels good. The fighting system seems fair. This game, when I played it, was made by people who very obviously understand the fighting game genre really well. So if you're into Arc System Works fighting games, I think this new Blaze Blue is pretty good.
What was funny, the best about it, was there's no one at the booth. We showed up like late, and there's no one. We just walked up. There was no waiting time.
That was pretty sweet.
It was good, and we both walked, same machine, let's just play. What was in Titanfall, we had like maybe like a 20-minute wait.
It's pretty hefty
and it was like 5 versus 5.
Yeah, it was,
against each other real time.
Yeah.
Lightning Returns was really quick because they had 10 screens set up. So that was a really quick wait. The same as Final Fantasy X and 10 too.
Yep.
Wolfenstein
killed us.
Was so long. There's
20-minute demo.
You get 20 minutes, and it's 4 screens. That's all they had.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did they have 4 screens? Why not 8?
Right.
That killed us for that. So tomorrow is we get a lot of the Sony stuff. Tomorrow we got our VIP tour of Sony. The Sony booth, so we'll get to see Killzone, we'll get to see Deep Down, playable. What else are they going to have? A bunch of other stuff at Sony.
Oh yeah, we'll have to check out what they have available at their VIP booth. But the big ones we're looking for are Killzone and Deep Down.
Killzone and Deep Down, we big. We got to hit the Konami booth. see some Konami action. Capcom, we still have to see Capcom, and we still have to see GTA. GTA, even though technically it's released, they have a GTA
that
booth
game
there.
is out, but they definitely have that booth there.
They had a huge line for that. It was like an hour wait for that game as well.
Yep.
Oh, and also Sega. Because Sega, there's the new Yakuza Ishin.
Really exciting new game.
I know I'm going to love that game. And it's playable, it looks like. They also have a Phantasy Star Online, Phantasy Star Nova, and oh yeah, we also have to find the new Soul Sacrifice. So the second day we do have a lot of coverage. I think we did Microsoft today because when we were looking around the show, there was hardly anyone at Microsoft. It just made sense. There's no lines. Let's check this out first.
Yeah.
And the first day, everyone else is waiting these long hour lines. So no, let's save our time because tomorrow there's probably going to be less lines.
Yeah. We'll see.
It should be good.
Yep.
So yeah, Capcom, the Sony Tour, GTA, Soul Sacrifice.
That's
Sega.
tomorrow.
This is all tomorrow.
Yep.
And then whatever we miss, we check it out Saturday during the fan day.
All right,
so,
then.
Yeah, so we'll check you guys next time.
All right. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.